Hey, it's Matt and Josh special live stream.
Ooh, surprise.
Yeah. So we used to do live streams, not so much anymore. But this big article came out today from Variety. I thought we'd, um,
Hop on.
yeah,
Hop
hop
on the
on,
train.
go over it, and discuss the shocking revelations I think that are in here.
The shocking ramifications.
Sure, both.
Okay, sure.
Okay. So it's from Variety by Tatiana Siegel, titled "Crisis at Marvel." Jonathan Majors' backup plans, the Marvels reshoots, reviving original Avengers, and more issues revealed. This dropped today. Doesn't say what time,
Yes.
but it dropped today. Okay, so screen that. Okay, this past September, a group of Marvel creatives, including the studio chief Kevin Feige, assembled in Palm Springs. Well, it's a nice place to visit, I think, for the studio's annual retreat. Most years, the vibe have been confident, even cocky. However, the premier superhero brand owned by Disney since 2009 has remade the entertainment business in its image. But this occasion was angst-ridden. Everyone at Marvel was reeling from a series of disappointments on screen, a legal scandal. Do you have like something going on in is that a cat?
Yeah, it's a cat.
Anyways, but this occasion was angst-ridden. Everyone at Marvel was reeling from disappointments, blah, blah, blah. The most pressing issue to be discussed at the retreat was what to do about Jonathan Majors. The actor who had been poised to carry the next phase of Marvel Cinematic Universe, but instead is headed to a high-profile trial in New York later this month on domestic violence charges. The actor insists he is the victim, but the damage to his reputation and the chance he could lose the case has forced Marvel to reconsider its plans to center the next phase of its interlocking slate of sequels, spin-offs, and series around Major's villainous character, Kang the Conqueror, and various variants. Yeah, so I guess they've never really come out and they haven't said anything about Majors at all. Like, not even, like, no, not a support thing, not, we're looking into it, we'll see what the case comes out as. They've been radio silent. At the gathering in Palm Springs, executives discussed backup plans, including pivoting to another comic book adversary like Doctor Doom. But making any shift would carry its own headaches. Majors was already a big presence in the MCU, including as the scene-stealing antagonist in Quantumania. And he's been positioned as the franchise's next big thing in this season of Loki, particularly the finale, which airs November 9th, and sets up Kang as the titular star of Avengers film in 2026. I wonder who did this little cover art for the...
Yeah, Rafa Alvarez.
Not sure he'll be able to do comic book variant covers anymore.
Yeah, I don't know about that. I don't know how many he did in the first.
Quote, Marvel is truly fucked with the whole Kang angle, says one top dealmaker who's already seen the final Loki episode. Is there spoilers in this? I hope there's no spoilers.
Careful. Yeah, like, you didn't even prep me on this one.
I haven't read it either. I just saw people headlines
Jesus.
about it and was like, oh, we should do a video.
Oh my God.
And they haven't even had an opportunity to rewrite until very recently because of the WGA strike. But I don't see a path to how they move forward with him. Beyond the bad press for Majors, the brain trust of Marvel is also grappling with the November release of The Marvels, a sequel to 2019's blockbuster Captain Marvel that has been plagued with lengthy reshoots and now appears likely to underwhelm at the box office. This is an all unprecedented turn of fortune for a company that's enjoyed nearly an uninterrupted string of hits ever since it started independently producing movies with its 2008's Iron Man. That wildly profitable run culminated in $2.8 billion success of Avengers Endgame, a high watermark for the studio that has earned nearly $30 billion over 32 films. Can you look this up while I'm reading this? What did it cost Disney to buy Marvel? It was like $10 billion or something, wasn't it?
I don't know. Let's see.
Josh, bring that up.
Guy in the chair. Oh, they paid only $4 billion.
$4 billion back in 2007.
Wow.
They certainly made a nice profit off that.
Voting finished in 2009.
The deal finished in 2009.
Yeah.
Okay. What did they pay for What did they pay for Star Wars offhand? By the way, for Lucasfilm.
4.05 billion.
Man, those they really are good profit makers for them.
They knew exactly what they were doing.
Okay. So replicating that kind of phenomenon is never easy. However, the source of Marvel's current troubles can be traced back to 2020. That's when the COVID pandemic ushered in a mandate to help boost Disney's stock price with an endless torrent of interconnected Marvel content for the studio's fledgling streaming platform, Disney Plus. According to the plan, there would never be a lapse in superhero fare, with either a film in theaters or a new television series streaming at any given moment. But the ensuing tsunami of spandex proved to be too much of a good thing, and the demands of churning out so much programming taxed the Marvel apparatus. Moreover, the need to tease out an interwoven storyline over so many disparate shows, movies, and platforms created a muddled narrative that baffled viewers. The Marvel machine was pumping out a lot of content. Did it get to the point where there was just too much and they were burning people out on superheroes? It's possible, says Wall Street analyst Eric Handler, who covers Disney. The more you do, the tougher it is to maintain quality. They tried experimenting with breaking in some new characters like Shang-Chi and the Eternals, with mixed results. With budgets as big as these, you need home runs. Yeah, so Shang-Chi worked and Eternals didn't. So, hit and miss. The Marvels, which opens in theaters next week, will struggle to get the ball past the infield. At least by Marvel's outside standards. The movie, which cost $250 million. Oh, I didn't know it cost that much.
$250? Where? Where did it go? Where did the money go?
Well, it went in the visual effects in space.
Oh my god.
Oh my god. The Marvels opens $250 million, right? Is tracking to open to $75 to $80 million. Far below the $185 million Doctor Strange took in domestically. Oh, I did that much domestic? Wow.
Eventually, yeah.
And this took in domestically in its debut weekend. So it did 185 in its first weekend domestically.
What?
Apparently. Number might be wrong.
That
sounds high. Director Nia DaCosta, The Marvels, directed by Nia DaCosta, The Marvel unites Larson's heroine with two super-powered allies, Tiona Paris, Monica Rambeau, introduced in the 2021 Disney Plus series WandaVision, and Aman Vellani's Kamala Khan, first in the Marvel series on Disney Plus. But instead of seamlessly building on the success of Captain Marvel, this move resulted in 4 weeks of reshoots to bring coherence to a tangled storyline. Then eyebrows were raised again when DaCosta began working on another film while The Marvels was still in post-production. Oh, I didn't know that. Did you know that? She's like, I'm out. I'm outie.
I did not know that.
The filmmaker moved to London earlier this year to begin prepping for her Tessa Thompson drama Hedda. Representative for DaCosta declined to comment. If you're directing a $250 million movie, it's kind of weird for the director to leave with a few months to go, says a source familiar with the production. Yeah, that's kind of weird. I wonder if she voluntarily left or they asked her to leave.
That's weird.
That
report, by the way,
yeah,
is correct.
It made $185 million its first weekend?
It actually made $187.4 million.
How dare they?
It's opening
get it off
domestic
by $2.5 million.
That's a fuck ton of money, man. That's actually I didn't realize. I mean, the drop off was crazy, but
yeah.
Okay.
Wow. The Marvels has seen its release date moved back twice. Once to swap with Quantumania, which was deemed further along, and again when its debut shifted from July to November to give the filmmakers more time to tinker. But that extra time didn't necessarily help. In June, Marvel, which traditionally only solicits feedback from Disney employees and their friends and family, took the uncharacteristic step of holding a public test screening in Texas. The audience gave the film middling reviews. I was unaware that they only did test screenings for friends and family and employees before they put it out for a review.
I didn't know this either, but I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah. But Marvel has never been in the business of being average. Kevin's real superpower, his genius, has always been in post-production, getting his hands on movies, making sure they finish strongly. The source adds, these days he's spread thin. Feige declined to comment for this story as well. Feige isn't the only person showing signs of strain. Marvel's entire visual effects battalion, including staffers, vendors, is struggling to keep pace with a never-ending stream of productions. This past February, when the credits rolled at the premiere of Quantumania, shock rippled through the Regency Village Theater in Westwood over some shoddy CGI. There were at least 10 scenes where the visual effects had been added at the last minute and were out of focus, says one veteran power broker who was there. It was insane. I've never seen something like that in my entire... Okay, well, that's not true. I'm sure there are a number of movies that have had shoddy visual effects that you've seen in your life. The Flash comes to mind, although it came out afterwards.
I'm sure he's talking in retrospect of how much money / like...
There are expensive movies that look shitty, though.
They're what? Well, that's what it is, though.
Yeah.
Like, that's what's gotten to that.
There are at least 10 scenes that have... Okay, it was insane. I've never seen something like that in my entire career. Everyone was talking about it. Even the kids of the executives were talking about it. Oh, yeah, those privileged kids were talking about it. They're getting on their Snapchats and Instagram.
How dare they?
Complaining of the visual effects.
Fuckers.
The schedule swap with the Marvels had left the Ant-Man sequel in a squeeze, pushing up its post-production schedule by 4.5 months. Marvel films are known for coming down to the wire, given Feige's ability to foam the runway and land a plane that way. So he prefers to, I guess, have his pants on fire while he's finishing a movie. It's when he does his best work. But this level unfinished was unprecedented and would be noted in scathing reviews when the tentpole with $200 million budget opened 11 days after the premiere. Critics were the only ones dismayed, fed up with 14-hour days and no overtime. Marvel visual effects workers voted unanimously to unionize in September, sparking an industry-wide trend.
I mean, that's,
good. I'm glad they unionized.
Obviously.
The year 2023 was the straw that broke the camel's back, says former Visual Studios FX assistant coordinator Anna George, who appeared before the Congressional Labor Caucus on October 19th to testify. But I didn't know they were in front of Congress.
I had no idea. Well, Congressional Labor Caucus, right? Like it's a...
Sure, it's a committee meeting, but it's still in front of Congress.
Damn.
The studio's untenable deadlines and working conditions, the pay and long hours of Marvel were the reason we had to start our unionization process. The conditions were completely unsustainable. Disney's top brass and newly returned CEO Bob Iger was said to be apologetic about Marvel's visual effects troubles. 1 month after Quantumania premiered debacle, the guillotine fell on Victoria Alonso, who oversaw the studio's physical production, post-production, visual effects, and animation. While the reason cited for her abrupt firing was an unauthorized role as an executive producer on the Oscar-nominated film Argentina in 1985, insiders say Disney was incensed that quality control on its Marvel productions was plummeting, particularly on the ever-expanding TV front. The visual effects logjam had been evident for some time, with some final effects for such Disney Plus series as WandaVision and She-Hulk inserted after their streaming debuts. I feel like I noticed that on She-Hulk, right? Didn't they go back and fix She-Hulk a couple episodes later? Yeah.
Yep.
Also, we read a story this week that she was fired because she wouldn't remove LGBTQ symbols or symbols out of Quantumania, but that's
other markets.
Yeah, but that's not what this is saying. I never really understood that. I'm like, oh, that doesn't sound right to me. This sounds more plausible. That Alonso was also busy promoting her art house project while Rome burned certainly didn't sit well with Disney's leadership. Alonso's attorney says her client is unable to comment. Yeah, I bet that NDA with a nice severance package is keeping her quiet. But some internal sources suggest Alonso was a scapegoat and point to the She-Hulk visual effects issues as a symptom of deeper rot, namely a lack of oversight on script development. In the original arc of She-Hulk, a flashback of star Tatiana Maslany's transformation into her Hulk character didn't take place until episode 8, the penultimate episode, but after Marvel's brain trust watched the footage, it realized the scene needed to happen in the pilot episode so that audiences could see more of the character's backstory earlier. That meant that the visual effects team was tasked with fixing the mess in post-production. The so-called bad visual effects we see was because of half-baked scripts. Says one person involved with She-Hulk that is not Victoria, that is Kevin. Ooh, throwing Kevin under the bus. And even above Kevin, those issues should be addressed in pre-production. The timeline is not allowing Marvel executives to sit with the material. Yeah.
Yeah. So, like I said, dude, like I was saying, all these things happen so fast. It doesn't give the people that are involved with it enough time to soak in it, make it art. You know what I mean? They're pumping out.
Sit and think about it and go back and like, usually.
I know, like, you know what I mean? Like, I would assume that the turnaround for a movie with high value in the terms and expectations, you're talking a few years. If they're rushing, they want to try to get it in just under 3 years, like 2.5 years. You know what I mean? In terms of trying to finish something. People spend how long? Almost a year on one season of television.
I mean, George Martin spent 15 years on Winds of Winter.
Sure. Still going. We got how many Marvel shows in a period of time, right? So again, I don't think really anybody got the time to sit and bake in any of the art that could have been these properties. And I mean, She-Hulk is definitely one of those.
Yeah, usually, I'm assuming when a writer writes something, he writes it down, he lets it percolate, he writes it, he puts it down, he goes back, rereads it. It's a process over a couple of months of like going back, rewriting, tightening up, blah, blah. Marvel doesn't, at least during the pandemic, they weren't doing that. They were like just shotgunning it and we'll fix it in post.
Yeah, exactly.
The so-called bad visual effects we see was because of Half-Baked. Okay, we read that part. All the while, Marvel was bleeding money with a single episode of She-Hulk costing some $25 million. God damn, a half-hour She-Hulk cost $25 million, and
it's crazy,
dwarfing the budget of final season episodes of Game of Thrones. God damn.
Yeah, dude.
That's
dwarfing it.
Nutty. But without a similar zeitgeist bang, the August 2022 series premiere at the El Capitan Theater foreshadowed what was to come 6 months later. That the Quantum Mania bow, the She-Hulk special effects were out of focus in multiple scenes. There are signs that the flood of product is leading people to tune out. I'm not prepared to call it a permanent fall, but based on the numbers that go with Marvel podcasts, Marvel-based articles, friends who do Marvel-based video coverage, and all these numbers are significantly down, says Joanna Robertson, co-author of the New York Times bestseller MCU, The Reign of Marvel Studios, who's a writer and podcaster at The Ringer. The quality is suffering in 2019 at the peak. If you put Marvel Studios in front of something, people are like, oh, that brand means quality. Oh, ouch. The association is no longer the case because there have been so many projects that felt half-baked and undercooked. Yeah, so there has been this narrative in the last 2 years that I mostly see it on Reddit and subreddits, that every time something Marvel comes out, they're like, oh, it didn't do well, like people are sick of Marvel, nobody cares anymore. And then Guardians 3 comes out and it's $900 million and everybody cares again because it was a good fucking movie. So I don't think, this is a permanent fall for Marvel. It's just they need to get back on top with quality writing and they will get the audience back.
Yeah.
Crap, where was I? Okay. As public criticism mounts, Feige is pulling the plug on scripts and projects that aren't working. Case in point, the Blade reboot. With Mahershala Ali signed on for the eponymous role of a vampire. Things looked promising for 2023 release date, but the project has gone through at least 5 writers, 2 directors, one shut down 6 weeks before production, one person familiar with the script. Permutation says the story at one point morphed into a narrative led by women and filled with life lessons. Oof. I'm not saying oof because it was led by women, but like a Blade movie, you want vampires, action, and blood. You don't want to learn about life lessons.
I heard somebody talk about this today, actually, like very briefly. And it's a simple fact of you're calling it Blade. It's not called like a Blade story.
Vampire, a Blade story.
Yeah, like they anticipated to have Blade in it, not as the fourth character looming in the background.
Yeah. So Blade was relegated to the fourth lead, a bizarre idea considering the studio had two-time Oscar winner Ali on board. Amid reports that Ali was ready to exit over script issues, Feige went back to the drawing board and hired Michael Green, the Oscar-nominated writer of Logan. Oh, that's amazing. Okay, yes. now I'm super hyped about Blade now. Speculation around town is that the studio is looking to make the film, now slated for 2025, on a budget of less than $100 million, a deviation from Marvel's big spending strategy. Yes, again, spend less money, make it better, spend the time writing a script, get the script right, don't rely on visual effects, do practical effects. Sometimes practical effects are cheaper or more expensive than visual effects, but you'll get better quality out of it. Okay, with Iger publicly acknowledging the downside of a Marvel TV glut, that diluted focus and intense cheap, I thought maybe because he got back end, I thought he made like 65 million. Oh, maybe he made 65 million or 60 million for Endgame and Infinity War combined.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, I feel like he wouldn't take anything less than like.
Yeah, why would he?
$35 million.
Will that solve Marvel's Majors problem? When the Quantumanian actor was arrested in March, the executives insisted that they could afford to play a wait-and-see game, given the Avengers Kang Dynasty wasn't expected to begin shooting until 2024. This is obviously delayed because of the actor strike even further. But then Majors was dropped in quick succession by his publicists and managers. He remains a client at WME, the agency where he landed after CAA parted ways with him pre-arrest, I didn't know this, for his brutal conduct towards staff, says one source. CA declined to comment. Did you know that he got dropped by CA because of his behavior?
I did not.
Have you heard that?
No.
Jesus, this is getting worse and worse.
So I'm assuming that was maybe something in the beginning, like not the trial, but the motions or whatever. Once they started like making those like public or something, perhaps
that came out too with.
Came out with that. Maybe.
I hate that this guy's a jerk.
Yeah, it's just getting worse and worse. It's like
in April, other alleged domestic violence victims of Majors began cooperating with the Manhattan District Attorney's Office. Then, ahead of a key hearing in October, media outlets, including Variety, obtained a court filing that referenced a police incident in London involving Majors that led to his ex-girlfriend to seek medical attention. Making matters even stickier, the ex-girlfriend also worked on Quantumania as a movement coach. And while the London incident took place while Majors was shooting season 2 of Loki, a New York judge denied Majors' motion to dismiss the case, which ensures that the actor will stand trial in late November. His legal team is attempting to keep some material in the case sealed, which we talked about this week on the Marvel Weekly News. Excuse me. A studio source notes that regardless of the actor's legal issues, Marvel already had considered moving away from Majors-led phase because of the box office performance of Quantumania, which will struggle to make a profit. Okay. The problem with Quantumania wasn't Majors or Kang.
Yeah, he was actually
he was the best thing about it. It was everything else. I hope
the fact that the main cast didn't look like they really wanted to be there. How about that? Not like, you know what I mean? It's just like, fuck. Like the fact they were staring at a green screen for months, and they like you could tell. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's like it doesn't look scary because it's a single color I'm staring at. Like I understand it's they're part of the job, but like, sweet Jesus.
Okay. A studio source notes that regardless of because of the box of it gave people pause given that Quantumania didn't exactly land. On October 27th, Disney removed another Majors film, Searchlight's magazine Dreams, from the release calendar. Recasting Majors is also an option, as Feige did when he replaced Terrence Howard in Iron Man 2 with Don Cheadle.
They had to mention it, eh? They had to mention it. Oh, that's funny. That's fucking funny. Holy shit.
Obviously, Cheadle is the better actor than Terrence Howard. He's a little less nuts.
Tiny bit.
Yeah, just a tiny bit. I think they would be hard-pressed to find another actor of that caliber to fill Kang's role. If they're just going to keep Kang as the villain.
Yeah.
If they want to stick with someone that's more unknown and not just throwing in a story of, oh, it's the variant of Tony Stark is now Kang. If they want to find another actor like that, where they did the swap for Terrence Howard to Don Cheadle. Actually, you know what? I've been watching Atlanta. I watched the first season of Atlanta this past week, and what's his name? Lanketh Stanfield. It's really good in that.
He's very good.
Yeah, and I'm wondering maybe
dude.
he'd be a candidate to switch over. Even, you know what? Even Donald Glover, I think, would be fun.
If he got jacked, like, I mean, the possibility is there.
Yeah.
I would say he's an exceptional actor.
They both are.
I was trying to think of like who they could come close to.
Well, I guess we'll find out. I guess we'll find out maybe at the end of in 2 weeks at the end of the season finale of Loki.
Yeah, we're gonna find out something soon.
Recasting Majors is an option. Blah blah blah. Cheadle. In fact, Marvel isn't afraid to change direction even after making splashy announcements. Armor Wars was first unveiled as a series and now is being developed as a feature, while the studio's push to adapt the comic book Inhumans into a feature film generated headlines, but is now dormant thanks to a television ABC Inhumans series that no one will get out of their mind. Still, there was one bright spot in 2023, Guardians 3, which became Marvel's biggest draw of the year with $845 million worldwide. The fact that it was directed by James Gunn, the guy now running at DC Studios, was lost on no one. With Marvel, it used to be as close to a guarantee as you could get, says Paul Durgarbedian, box office analyst at ComScore. So going all in on the budget made sense. Guardians 3 was a bit overlooked in how successful it was, but it had James Gunn, Chris Pratt, and I think power is becoming more important. I think star power is becoming more important. Then there was Quantumania with $476 million. Anything under $500 million is viewed as a disappointment, which I don't. Maybe it's because I don't make I don't know, $1 million a day. But like, if you spend $250 and you make, I don't know, 50 million more, isn't that like a win? Like any profit when you spend that much, I feel like should be considered a win.
And they're asking for
anything over $500 million. It's a flop if it hasn't tripled its budget.
Ridiculous.
$476 million, and these overreaching expectations are a result of so much success over the years. The key to reinvigorating Marvel may lie with the superhero arsenal that Disney acquired in 2019 purchase of 21st Century Fox. That deal brought several blue chip heroes such as the X-Men and Fantastic Four back into the studio's control. Already fans are geeking out about next year's Deadpool 3, that is true, which reunites Ryan Reynolds, Mark with a Mouth, and Hugh Jackman's Wolverine, and a reboot of the Fantastic Four slated for 2025. As a bonus, the Fox editions give Feige an opportunity to reimagine the X-Men franchise, the very property he's cut his teeth on as a young executive at Laura Schuler Donner Productions Company. Now the W strike is in the rear. Wait, did they settle? Oh, sorry, the writers, not settle.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry, I'm like, wait, what? Now that the writers strike is in the rearview mirror, Marvel started talking to writers about bringing X-Men into the fold. While Feige recalibrates, the rest of the industry is anxiously hoping that Marvel's best days are not behind it. Writing the Marvel obituary would be ill-advised, says Jason Squire, professor emeritus at the USC School of Cinematic Arts and the host of the Movie Business podcast. Kevin Feige is the Babe Ruth of movie executives. Hope he doesn't die early from a heart attack then, and too much drinking and womanizing. And Marvel has the most profitable track record in movie history. I mean, that part is 100% true. They're the most successful studio. Like, obviously they're not independent, but like 32 movies and $30 billion. It's like who has that good a track record for just 32 movies?
Yep. Yeah, so pretty crazy. I guess before we start talking, did you want to go over that other article quickly, or
which one?
There was two.
Send it to me, baby.
Oh, sorry. It was the 8 huge rumors. You sent me the one we just spoke of, but this one was
throw it in the. I don't know which one you're talking about.
One moment. Where the hell did I click this one from then?
No idea.
Huh. Wow.
Wait, did you see it from the in the streaming thing that I put
it
for
was.
later?
Yeah, sorry for later. My bad. Whoopsie.
I thought there was other news I had missed.
No, sorry. That's my fault. Sorry. I thought that was the one.
No.
So this coincides with a lot of those rumors. Obviously, I'm not going to mention them, but obviously, yeah. I think they probably have 3 very solid plans in place.
3.
In which way they're going to go.
Not 4 or 5, just 3.
Because I think
A, B, and C.
It's essentially
ABC, Disney. I get it. You connected the dots.
No, I felt more along the lines of because it's kind of like a best case scenario, medium case scenario, worst case scenario.
Okay.
And I feel like worst case scenario is that they lose Jonathan Majors, which I think is going to happen. I really do actually think this is going to play out. I think like a scrimp of some of this stuff from the trial is going to come out, and people are going to be like, no dice. Yeah. I'm surprised that it hasn't happened more already, but that will happen.
I hope that guy saves his money, because after he goes to jail, he's never say never, because Mel Gibson has been acting for a long time again.
Yeah, Mel Gibson is still directing.
Kevin Spacey, I think, even
to come back.
had had a heart attack on the set of some new movie he was thrown into.
Jesus Christ.
Actually, I don't know what happened with the heart attack. I guess he's
living in a wacky world, bro. But wacky world.
So I guess never say never, but it might be a while.
As Justin Bieber would say.
But
never say never.
Yeah.
Anyway. I don't think he's going to continue. If by a miracle he does, I feel like they are going to pivot into a different plan, I guess. But I have a feeling that they might rely on bringing back old characters. Old
just to tide them over until they can get
just to tide people over, and I really hope that they don't do that. I just really, really hope that doesn't happen. So
I actually wonder. I think probably like the Marvels. I think they've probably already written off the Marvels. They're like, we're going in a new direction already. We've already started that new direction. We're just gonna write off the Marvels, and people like it, don't like it. It doesn't make money. It makes money. We don't care. We're still gonna pivot.
Yeah,
and
because that's the last one, right? I think this is the last one until.
Yeah, I don't think anything else is finished. Like Deadpool 3 was supposed to be next, wasn't it?
You think so? Just checking now.
I think Deadpool 3 was supposed to be like March 2024. But now obviously that's going to be delayed.
Yeah, so as of September 7th.
Or had they pulled it from the slate?
As of September 7th, I'll have to find something updated. It was Loki Season 2, The Marvels, What If Season 2, late December 2023.
I mean, that's going to be, like, that was never going to be, that's Disney Plus, and I'm sure it'll be great. But it's animation, like, no one...
Yeah.
No one,
so, I mean, I'm excited for it because I actually enjoyed most of What If, and I thought their version of Ultron was the best version.
Yep.
Fuck, it was so good. It was so damn good. X-Men 97, early 2024. Don't think that's going to finish. I think it's going to get pushed. I still ring true that they're going to tie it in somehow.
What, to the live action introduction?
Well, I think, or into the universe, or into something. Something's going to happen.
Well, they've already said that X-Men 97 is there. I saw the voice actors already saying that they've been recording lines for season 2.
Jesus. Okay, so yeah, stuff's going on.
Yeah.
Echo. I have no idea at this point. Who the fuck knows?
Whether they dump that or not, I still think they don't care. They're not going to wait to see how that does, like the Marvels.
I can see it.
I actually think they catch a break here in that with the strikes, that it lets them push everything. It gives them a moment to breathe. We know Deadpool is going to do like $1 billion, even if it's not that great, it's Hugh Jackman and Ryan Reynolds. It'll do it'll do $1 billion, and then that gives them like, oh, see, we're successful again, while they have already made changes and pivoted, in that 6 to 8 months. That it's a slow moving train. Hopefully now it's not a race car to get everything out.
Yeah. And now everything has been like their release date for 2024 basically was the summer, and that was it, which was Deadpool 3 and Captain America Brave New World. Deadpool 3 was May 3rd, and Captain America was July 26th. So even if Deadpool 3 gets...
They probably pushed Deadpool 3 to July 26th, and then Brave New World in November.
Okay, because the rest of it was supposed to be in the fall and or December of 2024, and then everything of all that obviously is going to be now pushed.
But what was the next thing after Brave New World? Agatha,
then Thunderbolts in December 20th, and then Spider-Man freshman year at the end of the year.
But freshman year is an animated show,
right?
Yeah.
And we were supposed to get Blade before Fantastic Four.
Oh, well, we'll probably get Blade before Fantastic Four, but so I expect Deadpool 3 will take July, the Brave New World will take Thunderbolts date, and then Thunderbolts will get pushed to 2025, and then Echo, they're just gonna drop out of nowhere, even if they do release it, and then there'll only be probably one show next year, and it'll be Agatha, and it'll be almost 10 months, 11 months, depending on when they throw Echo out. Which it's probably a good idea. It gives people some time and space to like not have to worry about anything Marvel if they're, people like me that like are catching up and watch everything they put out because they enjoy it. But
sure.
This could be the break they needed to restructure or pivot.
Yeah, I feel like you're pretty much hitting the this gives them the non-responsibility excuse to be like, oh, it wasn't like the strike happened, we couldn't, there's only so much we could do, so we have to take a break now, we have to stop spending so much money, we have to wean, you know what I mean, like it gives them, I guess you would almost call it plausible deniability of being able
we really weren't holding out on the writer strike and SAG strike. It wasn't just us. It was the other studios.
It was everybody
we
else
wanted
too.
We wanted to give those wonderful actors everything they wanted. It was the other. It was like, Netflix and Warner Brothers. They were the ones who were the bad guys.
Absolutely. But you understand what I'm saying? Like they're like, oh yeah, like. Yeah, the writers, they were gone for so long. Now the actors, so, we're going to have to wait now, play catch up. We don't want to, but we're going to have to. And it's like...
I think everyone will understand that if a bunch of dates gets pushed.
But that's what I'm saying to you, right? Is they're able to use that as their extra, like, rather than, we should have did this 2 years ago. It's instead, they're definitely... making the best of the situation for themselves.
Yeah, I really wonder if they I know Kevin Feige is like Lord of all, but maybe they consider splitting. Feige does movies, they get a different overall head of production for, I'm not saying Jeff Loeb because they hate each other, but the Star Wars and Kennedy and Filoni and Favreau, like they split time so that they're not overworked, and you have a second set of eyes. Who's the Marvel Filoni? I have no idea.
Yeah, having a bunch of yes people around you, I guess, it doesn't work out. And like I think the one thing, hilariously enough, which is with the first set of movies with Marvel, we're talking about the first fucking like 25 fucking films. There I feel like there was a lot of hands in the pot, but at the same time, they had a clear vision. They know what they were for, but there was a lot of tried, tested, and true moments probably in production where they were 3/4 of the way done the movie and they were like, okay, and like they showed it and they got some fairly good reception, and then like how they finished, and then they still got good reception on probably most of those movies, and they released them to I wouldn't say critical acclaim, but they did.
Some of them had critical acclaim.
How well, like amazing, right? So
who would have been really good to take over for at least one section? James Gunn.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I think he would have been good to run TV or movies, and Feige could have run TV. I think he probably could have done a good job.
I guess we'll see.
Yeah, I guess we'll find out. Like it's funny to make an analogy of this. If you're a hockey fan, the Leafs general manager left last July in a kind of scandal because he wanted more power.
Right.
The Penguins hired him, and now his team's last place, and it's delightful. It's delicious. Anyways, one last thing. We watched Werewolf by Night in color on Halloween.
Okay.
Not as good.
Yeah, because there's a lot contributing to that feature.
Yeah.
That had to do with
the lighting.
A black and white, the lack of color. Like, you know what I mean? There was a artistic edge to it.
The lighting the way they lit it didn't make sense in color, but it made complete sense in black and white.
In all the right ways too.
Yeah.
Like it made sense in all the right ways when they did it.
I mean, the blood was fun, seeing the actual
yeah.
But yeah, it was better.
I figured that it would be like that, and I didn't want to watch it. I
Yeah.
was scared.
It's better in black.
Noted. For what it's worth, we started rewatching the first Scream, and wow.
Want to play a game? Is that the line? Want to play a game?
Yes, I think so. That and what's
Drew
your favorite
Barrymore?
scary movie?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. But
I think the last one I watched was 3.
Dude, so hilariously campy and just so like you can tell they didn't hire any I guess I would call them like chase coaches, you know what I mean? Like the chase is happening and like they're trying to coach him to tell him how to fucking. It's so ridiculous.
Run like you mean it.
Yeah, like literally, like the director. Yeah, can you run with like a little bit of haste? And it's like, sure, I can try. And it's like, okay. And it's like, and then he tells the guy in the suit to do the same thing. He's like, give it a little bit more chase, would you? And he's like, okay. And like they fake trip and fall on the ground, and like their limbs are flailing because they're just so excited because they've been chasing each other, right? So rather than it being dramatic, it just looks absolutely ridiculous. Like his boot, like he's wearing like giant black boots, and his boots bouncing off the ground and hitting the wall and stuff, and like he's flailing around. Like it's pretty funny, man. Like it's Anyway,
I think Scream 6 was good, but I don't know. I haven't.
I can't remember what the most recent one is, but I heard. The
6,
most recent one
is it 6? I think it is.
I heard it was actually quite okay.
Yeah.
But I don't know. They bring back everybody?
Yeah, but Nev Campbell says she's not coming back for 7 because they wouldn't pay her equal as to. I mean, they wouldn't pay her what she's worth.
Of course. Oh, big fucking surprise there.
Yeah. Okay, well that's like the big news of the day.
Fun.
Yeah, we'll be back next week. We'll talk about the new Loki episode. 2 episodes
we'll
left.
be back next week. I'm gonna have to do it from a hotel room, though. I'm sorry.
Are you gone the entire week?